of your mind where you'd like to take the agenda forward? That this is how ICT companies can engage MSMEs.
I really feel that the ICT companies need to do a need analysis, especially in terms of small and micro enterprises, because they just don't know what kind of services they are in need of. They need to understand the client, and then solutions are easy for them because it's just a simplified package that they need to work on. But a need analysis is something that they need to indulge in, and if that is not, if that's too much to ask for them, I think they need to simplify the package with voice-enabled information systems. That's one simple solution that people can access. Thank you.
Well, I think what I agree with Piyush in the sense that the small and medium, micro and small enterprise sector is something that the IT industry needs to understand completely. The other thing is that what I've heard on this discussion today, and what I have seen also generally, is this overemphasis on enabling the SMEs to reach the market, access the market. I think what also is required is to enabling them to actually use ICTs within their own processes, and that is a very highly customized thing, and that is where many of the SMEs, although they reach out to larger markets through ICTs, but in terms of processes is where they fail, and because that directly impacts the quality of the product, the timeliness of the service or the product into the market.
So I mean, I think my recommendations already mentioned them. I think it's education and making it very simple for them to come online. I think those are the. Well, so when I say education, I don't mean you teach them how to use a computer. I think, as she rightly pointed out, it's you have to understand their needs and then explain to them IT in the context of fulfilling those needs. I mean, obviously, I don't think this is about telling them here's how you use a laptop, right? Or here's how you use a browser. I mean, the point is to understand what their needs are and then figure out how best an IT solution can meet those needs. I think things like voice are very interesting. People have been struggling with that for, you tell me, 20 years. It's not as easy as it sounds from a technology perspective. But the question really is that if there is an intermediary that can actually understand those needs and then solve and then translate those into something that's meaningful in today's internet environment, without having to teach them how to use the computer on day one, if you may, then I think that's the first great step. And then, as I said, make it simple for them to interact with the internet, be it through whatever device that they're comfortable with and whatever technology they're comfortable with. I think that would be the second great step. But I think if we just do those two things, then at least we can take these 26 million MSMEs and make sure that more than 500,000 of them have websites and do something on the internet.
Well, I'll also extend what Manish has said. Rather than using the word education, I'll use the word awareness. That awareness has to be created. Maybe, I mean, the onus is on the government itself, or people who are in the forefront of MSME development, maybe from the government or social sector, to create awareness among the small and medium enterprises and other micro enterprises that there are cheap or even free tools and solutions available. Because we can't expect Microsoft to tell them about OpenOffice. We have to tell them about that. Or you can't we can't expect one solution company or any website company to tell them about other company. So we have to tell them that these are the options available for you. And also, I mean, we are into training, so we have been training them in IT skills. But why government initiative does not take place at a faster rate is because ICT is not our only field. When you talk about MSME development, it is right from providing land in a proper place to put them under the proper norms, all the excise thing, and all those departments come into picture, and tell them about the manufacturing process, about quality assurance, about marketing and all that. And obviously for ICT to be used as tool in all these fields separately, and where they find value, they will take it up. So I think from government side, it is definitely creating awareness, education, and what we can do to help you to make the cost as minimum as possible.
So my recommendation is a little different. I have a recommendation from the MSME ministry. I mean, I want to recommend to the MSME ministry that if they can publicize the list of MSMEs, the name, address, phone number, where they belong to, what services, what product or services they provide, just the directory. So everybody is saying 26 million. Where are those 26 million? I cannot find them. And there are thousands of innovative service providers who are willing to provide that services, the newer, cheaper services, which might make sense for those MSMEs. They are not able to find those 26 million MSMEs. So this 26 million MSME census, is very important. And if you can publicize that data very heavily, I am sure a few 100,000 service provider will educate the MSMEs like anything. Because most of the cases, a few 100,000 MSMEs, see what has happened. Did we first of all learn SMS? No. When the SMS was born, we didn't even know how to type SMS. But since the incoming SMS was free, we got so many SMSs. We ultimately learned how to type SMS. So we were bombarded with SMS problem, and we learned how to type SMS with this number-driven keyboard, number-driven keyboard on the mobile. What I'm saying is, since these MSMEs are lying in their own pockets, even for a Microsoft to launch, even for a VeriSign to launch a cheaper product, they don't have access to MSMEs, and that's what we have been trying to do. We have been, out of these 15 years, half of our time and money, energy has gone into, doing the database collection and doing the right database collection, the correct database collection. So I don't want, 26 million may say 13 million being duplicated or died entries, because a lot of SMEs close down their businesses or change their business direction. So if you can publicize that whole data, then I think the solutions providers, the product providers will educate these SMEs so well that they will automatically grow very faster.
But I would like to ask you, when did you last visit MSME website?
So I did visit. I
you
do.
can write even directly to our minister. No need to talk to anybody, and you can say in MP, in particular district, I want to know, and you'll get that data. That is not true. That is not.
No. So why get that data? I'm saying, why not publicize it so heavily?
Publicizing that data is not government's initiative. Our thing is to keep that census. It is available on the website or available on demand. Publicize to whom? You are not the only person to whom we can publicize. Either I have to identify the number of industries to whom to publicize.
Publicize it to the public.
No, to public it is available on the site. It is available, if you inquire, it is available. That is not the thing. Thing is, when you use government structures, like you have district industry center and other things, we have to, go to state governments and other places, and all these things have to, these departments, various departments, have to combine together and create the data, because data is available in every district. So if anybody goes to district industry center, that person can get the data. It is a different case that how friendly is that person to give you the data, because being from the government sector, they work in their own fashion. See, otherwise the valid data is available there only. Otherwise, it is not available at any other place.
So my recommendation only is to, that valid data, if that valid data can be collected and collated and be present on a national, website for anybody to use, not on demand. But the only thing
also has been done.
Yeah.
That is also done.
Great.
It is
I think
not a-
you will see the effects of that very clearly very soon now.
So, Arvind, would you like to make some recommendations?
I would like to just add to what Rajiv said, and Dinesh gave out, came out with a counter argument. The government does have all the data. The only thing is, number one, as a common man, the trust in government website is a little low. But that should overcome. So just to tell example, like from Delhi government's perspective, like as I said before, 25 lakh is a loan given to any entrepreneur who wants to shift from a traditional industry to a knowledge-based industry through use of technology. In 2008 and 9, just 2 people benefited from the scheme. We had the same scheme. We had provided for 5 crore as a budget. And of course, the popularity has increased. We did write to all the municipal councillors and all the SDM office, because where do a common man go? Common man visits the 27 SDM office in Delhi to get a birth certificate, community certificate, or any other kind of assistance. So we did, because otherwise all our advertisements were coming out in the mainstream media, 2 in Hindi and 2 in English. Most of the people who need to use these schemes do not even read that. And even if they read that, if it is a government advertisement, by and large people don't care about that. So I would like to say that, just to being a bridge, one of a medium enterprise with access to good ICT technology can adapt, can try to publicize how do we to take the government schemes and the government data at a popular level, because government has its own limitations. You as entrepreneurs have a big dream and have a big vision to grow, and that's a great opportunity. And the another opportunity for ICT industry in Delhi especially is at least 200,000 MSMEs need to transform their business over the next 10 years from a traditional industry to a knowledge-based industry. And the market is open for you. And because at the end of 10 years, probably court may come down and say shut down. So this is one big opportunity I would like to highlight here. Thank you.
Thank you all very much, the panelists and the audience. And I'm really sorry to cut this out, especially at a time it was just getting about a little bit heated. You know? So I'm sorry about that. I'll just make 1 or 2 observations, and I don't know anything about SMEs, and no kind of shame in confessing that. I do know a little bit about ICT and how the ICT companies have been behaving for the last 15 years vis-a-vis the MSME or any other market. And my observations are based on that. One, I think, whether it is 2.6 million or 3 million or 5 million or 1 billion, don't look at SMEs as targets. All of us have targets, that there's a big market out there, SMEs. Nobody knows what that market wants. Nobody knows how to approach that market, but we all have that in our mind that 2.6 million guys are out there, ready to buy our products and services. Don't look at them as targets. Look at them as, people running legitimate businesses with legitimate problems. Can we solve those problems? I think that's my first submission. Second submission is that, let's not try to sell products and services. Let's try and sell them solutions. Very often we go and talk in a language nobody understands. We don't understand their problem, they don't understand our solutions. So it's, you're talking to a wall. 2 people in a room, each one talking to that wall, the other talking to that wall. It's not a conversation. I think we should have meaningful conversations with MSMEs, especially the ICT companies, because their language is often very jargonistic. And I'll just give you an example. When the first mechanical carriage was invented, we had horse-drawn carriages for 300, 400, 500 years. Then suddenly one day there was a mechanical carriage which was invented. And people thought that if they called it a car or something else, nobody would understand what it was supposed to do. So they had a very simple name for it. They called it the horseless carriage. Simple. And people immediately understood that it does the same functions of a carriage, it's just that it doesn't have a horse in it. So I think that's the language we should adopt while talking to the SMEs. I personally feel that there's a lot of need for re-education of the SMEs. And I think for one generation, they have been completely educated in the wrong way. That I have a box, please buy it, 5 lakhs rupees. No idea what am I going to do with that box, And you don't even tell me that if I buy that box, I will have to have 5 guys to maintain it, and I have to pay you annual license fee. So that's the kind of talk we should move away from and tell them here is a solution which is, you take as much as you like and pay as little as you want to or as much as value as you see it. So I think we should talk about new solutions which are primarily cloud-based and commons-based coming up. We should talk more and more about them rather than try to lump something onto them, dump on something onto them. So with these 3 points, I would like to close. Thank you very much. We have a short film on the Chanderi, but before we get there, if there are any questions to the panelists, please feel free to ask them.
Yes, brilliant. The panel was very eye-opening. I am Santosh Goenka. Actually, I have been the founder of a whole lot of trade titles, starting with Express Computer and a whole host of other trade titles. I'm in Delhi to see what I can do in the space that we are all discussing. There is a very big opportunity to exploit the language press, which actually reaches out to every region. And most of the language press is actually concentrating on politics, on crime, and I think it's time that the panel here is able to, through the deaf, is able to share some of these experiences of people who have adapted ICT. And because that's the best way to promote it, is to tell how one businessman has managed to sort of explore the market that he is in, whether he's a small artisan or whatever. I think one of the thing is that if we can translate it without losing the essence and do a half page in most of the regional press across the country. We have a very rich regional press. Some of them boast of huge circulations. In Malayalam, again, there's almost a 80-90% cover. So I think there is a big opportunity I see that just being in the space, which is a vertical space, if we can just to talk about the ICT thing, let the regional press call for educational seminars for their constituencies and link this foundation, this Digital Empowerment Foundation. In fact, I plan to talk to Osama later and see how I can help connect some of the regional press with the good work that's going on. So I think that's something that can just put everything together, the education part where they might not know the language, the local language. Then if the voice part is there with the seminars, they can come to understand the experience of a few people in that region who have been able to make it. So I think that's something very possible, and I think I can use the type of connectivity with the regional press, having been from a national press, to use that to educate people in the regions and bring about a one-on-one interaction. I think sharing of experience, what I call in my own language community wisdom, people who have experienced ICT will tell the next guy that I have done it. Last time I had a turnover of so much, now I'm making it. Artisans can share their experience and this whole divide can be, that's my, thank you.
The external facing part of it, which is marketing, customer acquisition, communications from an ICT point of view, really did not spend enough time talking about internally what we can do, ICT. And even this attached article talks about from a priority point of view, marketing and communication has almost been exhausted. So question is around, if you were to prioritize what we can do from an internal organization point of view, may not be relevant from a micro and small, but from a medium point of view. What are the things that we could prioritize?
You mean organization-wise?
Yeah, because you mentioned saying that there is one guy who is doing everything. He doesn't have HR, he doesn't have IT, he does everything, right? That might be true from a micro and a small, but when I come into medium, is there scope for doing things which are internal organization, not just marketing? And what would those priorities be?
No, again, these medium enterprises you're talking about, they definitely have, I don't think there is any medium enterprise who is, not well versed with ICT or doesn't even know about ICT. It is only about the small and see. I will also tell, government's definition of micro, small, medium is based on the investment you have done, not on your turnover. You can have 1,000 crore turnover, you will still be considered a micro because your investment is just a computer and a laptop and a printer. So if your investment in plant and machinery, except for the office, is say 25 lakh or below, you are a micro industry, no matter what your turnover is. So education by the awareness point of view, the ICT awareness, medium enterprises, I'm sure all medium enterprises, as part of their investment, it is, let's say, maybe 20-25% they have already invested in that IT infrastructure, in which they have created these applications. But the thing is, they are again dependent on big corporations like Microsoft or Sun Microsystems, or because they don't have time to invest into, they don't have time enough to understand that there are some free solutions available which they can be adopted, because then again that learning part, they should have some dedicated IT guy to do that. So they just directly go to the traditional vendors and try to get that thing. But they are not shy of investing in these things, because if this thing helps them in streamlining their operations, then definitely they are out for it. But what I feel is, once they are into it, and see, there we have something like ancillary industries, people who are supplying to them. Now they tell those people that you should now, from now on, you should try mail, send us mail or something. So these people again have to understand what this mail is, because the person supplying to a medium industry is a smaller guy. He doesn't know about that. So again, these things keep on, one thing feeds to other, and they keep on evolving in this ICT grid. But as I said, internal processes, most of the medium enterprises, it definitely makes business sense to them, and they do invest in it.
Are there any more questions?
Just, I'm from a audio-visual background, so I was just listening your presentation. It was extremely good. But I was just thinking, instead of talking, I mean, we have all talked a variety of things. Can we show them? Instead of just saying, these are how the solutions are in front of me. If somebody, you gave the example of cows and the milk. Some may not even know what the cows like, but definitely if you put a cow before them, this is it. People will understand. And the solutions rather than, because again that is an IT jargon, we always use them. But instead, can we ask them that what is it that requires? Some of you, I think, as I mentioned about the cloud computing, it is excellent. And now we, of course, almost at the end of SOA, service aided, what you call the architecture, no? Service-oriented architecture, which the technicians, technologists are talking about. That will decide, the end user will decide what technology I need, not the companies. That used to be the olden times. Now, if I need something, I will tell, this is what I need, no more. So, our approach needs to be a little bit in that visual way of showing it, which is our tradition and our culture. I think that will work out in this particular situation too. Thank you.
Thank you. On the topic of...
Right now, I see there's a complete divide over here between the urban and rural areas, actually. I mean, what do you people are looking at urban solutions for urban complex. You're trying to provide the solutions for urban problems. What about the rural side of it? And when you talk about the rural side of it, the cost of development of a solution is very high. Okay. So how does a person recover the money out of it? As Mr. Dinesh was saying, I mean, initially the cost of a website, 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs, to 1 lakh. Now because of competition, the cost has come down. Initial cost of the solution will only come will be recovered through high cost. Okay. And how does a person in the rural area afford that kind of a solution?
So I think more and more solutions are going to come online and they're going to be free. Dinesh actually provides, free listing service to 3.5 lakh SMEs. And there the issue of infrastructure, which one of the panelists mentioned, is very critical. Because there is no infrastructure, you cannot connect up. And these cloud-based services can be only provided through connectivity, unfortunately. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. So you are not being able to avail of a free service which is out there because you do not have the required infrastructure. So it's a much larger issue, and that's why we have talks about national broadband plan and things like that, which we hope will add much more kind of value to the services that many of us provide nowadays on the cloud.
And going by what you were saying, I think it's more a question of the letters, the fear of the letter basically, and a question of trust. I mean, the person in the rural area, it's like an old-time banking system basically. A person used to keep the money in his home, rather than keep it in the bank. the person does not trust the computer or the systems at the moment. So that fear has to be got over the person. And that's only is going to come through education and the fear of the letter getting out.
That is where the government sector comes in between. See, like computers were supposed to be earlier sold. We have IIM Bangalore, which created a computer. It was an initiative to for less than 10,000 rupees or something, which could be used by rural people. So similarly, there were services like NSIC had a service in tendering, even now has, that small and medium enterprises or micro, small and medium enterprise can take part in government tenders free of cost. No need to pay EMD or anything, but they have to get registered with us. And during that registering process, we'll check the credentials of the thing. So once credentials are with us and they have our certificate, it is free for them to, for taking part in any tenders. So similarly, like if once this cost was high, so sending fax and earlier was high, we used to do it for them. Similarly, if setting up a website or understanding this, so one part is the education part, tell them that this is available. If you are not able to do it, we'll do it for you. So our offices are available all over the country. They can walk into any office, like it's not just NSIC I'm saying, they should walk into any government office who are into this field. And then they should demand, these are, see, because list of services now as per RTI Act, they have to list out that these are the services we are demanding. So now, see, this awareness, because government also has to change to the needs. You can't just remain above people. So these changes are definitely flowing down. But the micro and small enterprises, there are many NGOs as well as some government departments who are dealing with them directly and educating them and even helping them set up their own enterprises.
So I've been warned twice that I should close the session now. I don't want to wait for the third warning. I have some mementos for the panelists, and we have a short film on the Chanderia project, which probably will take your suggestion forward that we should do more audio visuals to sell the solutions. So can we have the mementos?
Video record. I think we can have some claps. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Auditor. Thank you, expert comments by C.C. Arvind. Yes. After the film, let us join for lunch near the registration counter. So already the lunch is ready and already half. Just to have this quick look at the movie, please. 5 minutes. It's 5 to 7 minutes movie.
Chanderi lies in the middle of the North-South Highway, a strategic location for rulers and conquerors since the 10th century. Chanderi is known for its architecture, masonry, stone carvings, and famous for its weaving and elegant saris. Rapid urbanization and a changing marketplace have given shape to a harsh reality for many of Chanderi's residents. Nearly 3,000 weaving families are struggling to sustain their livelihoods. In 2009, the Digital Empowerment Foundation, with the support of Media Lab Asia and the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, began working in Chanderi to understand the situation. While the town generates more than rupees 65 crores of business annually, the weaving families only take home 2 to 3,000 rupees per month, barely enough to survive. Many families supplement their income with odd jobs, adding further stress to their lives. The master weavers and big businessmen appear to be earning all the money, while the weavers, in spite of being highly skilled craftsmen, are exploited as daily laborers. There are 4 main problems facing the weavers. They do not have enough money to buy raw materials, so they do not control what they want to make. They do not have the skills to design and stitch clothing that can be worn. They have no way of finding a retail market for their products. The younger generation has grown up knowing that weaving will not earn them enough to survive. but they lack alternative employment opportunities. The Digital Empowerment Foundation created Chanderiyan as a brand name for the project. The goal is to preserve traditional skills while introducing modern technology to sustain and improve the livelihoods of the weaving families. The center is concerned with the entire life cycle of the craft: textile design, production, apparel design, and marketing and retail. A special software allows designs to be integrated with the weaving pattern and then transferred onto the loom. More than 300 new patterns have been developed and earlier designs are digitally preserved. Over 20 individuals are trained as master trainers to teach textile design to more than 100 budding designers. The Jacquard card punching machine allows the motifs to be easily transferred from the computer design program onto the loom. Using the designs developed on the same software, the self-help groups carefully embroider onto the cloth. Block printing provides another livelihood option to the Chanderi weavers. After extensive training in cutting and stitching, more than 1,000 outfits have been created and are currently being sold. Digital Empowerment Foundation has helped provide 10 looms for the poorest of the poor weavers, who previously were working on rented looms. The project is also launching an e-commerce website to help market Chanderi products to the world. The project has trained over 500 youth with simple hardware and software skills so they can seek alternative employment. More than 500 individuals have received basic training in conversational English. All activities are currently taking place in the recently restored Raja and Rani Mahal. The historic site provides a picturesque landscape to connect all elements of the craft while creating an environment that promotes tourism, education, design and livelihoods. Chanderiyan is an ideal tourist destination. Located in a heritage building, the experience is accessible because tourists can interact with the trainers in English. Each and every aspect of the project has been organized into self-help groups, so members feel a sense of ownership, responsibility, and long-term sustainability. More than 300 members have joined various self-help groups according to their interests. From design conception and transfer onto a software intermediary, weavers can create textiles and produce clothes that can be worn and then sold online, all in one location, united by a common mission of building and sustaining livelihood. This project will be fully sustainable with both online markets and retail centers in major metros. Connecting education, livelihoods and entrepreneurship, Digital Empowerment Foundation has helped initiate a cooperative run by and for the people of Chanderi. Top of the future agenda is to create Chanderiyan as a brand. Live, see and buy in Chanderi. Take home the memories and do come visit again.
Thank you, all of you. There is a small bit of information. The Commonwealth 2010 Games logo has been designed by a weaver of Chanderi. Small piece of information.